Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you back to Gentlemen Know How. Today, we've got a flat tire and we're gonna fix it. Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a catastrophe the other night and one of our bike tires went flat. I love to ride. I have several bikes. This bike is actually my son's bike. We both have mountain bikes. I also love to ride my beach cruiser. I love bike riding. And today what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this flat tire. We don't need much for this repair, but what we need is important. We need the tire levers, the tube, and the pump. We're going to use those pieces in our next. But the first thing we have to do is get this tire free. And most have a quick release. That's what this lever is a quick release. One quick snap, should quick release, a little bit of effort. Around the other side there's a nut. You need to loosen that in order to remove it. Every bike tire is a little different, but most of the time you're going to have to remove on an outward pull. Note that on this bike it does have disc brakes. Okay, so the tools that we're going to use are going to help us to first separate the tire from the rim. What you want to do is you want to use that little bit of a scoop to kind of get underneath there. Now this is going to be pretty easy because this tire is completely deflated. If there's air in it, it's definitely going to be harder to do. But at this point, really, we already have kind of like the one free. And really what you can do is just kind of slide this around, right? Definitely going to be a little bit harder to get it back on. We're definitely going to use these to get it back on. So what this is allowing me to do, kind of get that full separation, right? So then at this point, then I can very easily, once I pull the full tire off completely, take this tire and tube off. So here we go. We have this side completely free. And now we can pull this whole thing off. Got this thing completely off. We're gonna go ahead and pull the tube, right? We're gonna leave the tire on, halfway on. Now what we have here is the valve, and that's what's going to stop us. Okay, so we're going to leave that valve in place until we get the rest of the tube free and clear. Right, then we have to unscrew the valve. Once we get the valve unscrewed, oops, dropped it. Then we can go ahead and then fully, and it probably helps to push a little bit from that front side. And now we've got the tube. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. Ooh, this one blew completely open. I'm hoping you can see that, ladies and gentlemen. There are two good sized holes. So yeah, you could patch this. I would say back in the day, back when I was my son's age, you'd have a patch kit and you'd patch it and you put the thing back in there, but we're just gonna replace it. So we have the old tube out. We've gone through and we've taken a quick inspection of the tire. You want to ensure that you don't have any holes in the tire itself. We've also taken a look inside the actual rim to make sure that there's nothing poking through, there's nothing damaged. This is an easy repair. Only thing we're needing to do is replace our inner tube. So next up, that's where we are, inner tube. So we're replacing like for like. This is the same type of valve, the same Schrader valve that was on the former. So what we want to do here is go ahead and get it all opened up. So next step in our process, we want to put a little bit of inflation into the new tube. That helps us to know that it's in fact good, solid, going to work, and also makes it a lot easier to seat properly. I use a hand pump. You can use a compressor. I don't recommend it. It's easy to blow out a tube. If using a compressor, I think investing in a pump is the way to go. This has both the Presta and Schrader. Schrader's like the old school. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do this. We're going to lock it in place, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit. So that way, there we go. Now that's about all we're looking for. Now that it's just got a little bit of air in there, we are then going to be able to reseat the valve. And the valve you want to line up with the instructions for your max pressure, right? So that way whenever you're looking to inflate your tire, you can always see exactly where that information is. So all I'm doing now is I'm tucking the tube up into the tire. So one half of the tire is still seated properly. So now what we're gonna need to do is seat the other side properly. Now we can do this by hand for the most part, kind of holding in place. Let me get my hand out of the way so you can see. You see how we're seated properly? And I might even get lucky. I might not even need to use the levers. We were able to seat that entirely without using the levers. So this was very, very simple for me to do. I've had much, much harder replaces than this. So we are almost there, ladies and gentlemen, but before we go and reinstall it, we want to do two things. And before we put air in it, we want to ensure that all the way around the beading is set of the tire is going to be set to the rim. We want to ensure that we don't have any tubes sticking out on either side. Once you know you do, you can choose to inflate it here. I'm going to reinstall the tire and then inflate it when it's on the bike. I feel that's going to make my life a little bit easier. And the reinstall, so you want to make sure you line everything up. And with disc brakes, you want to ensure that you get lined up properly. And we are seated. So I'm going to tighten this up. Get that quick lock all set. Okay, tire looks good. So now, let's go ahead and inflate it. Test before you complete inflating the tire to ensure that the beading seats properly on the rim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Replace that front tire very easily in this instance. I was able to do this myself because of what I know, and now you too know how to replace a bike tire. The final test of the tire is going to be taking it for a test ride. Always want to make sure you don't go right to a trail or right to your ride. Want to make sure you test in front of your house in your neighborhood. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another successful repair here on Gentlemen Know How. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next time.